off at all. All right, let's bring in our next guest, Jay Jacobs, who is the New York State Democratic chairman. Jay, there you are. I can see you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Excellent. So you had a pretty strong message on Twitter earlier tonight. If you don't mind, I'm going to read that to those who missed it. You said, quote, "No Republican that supports Trump can ever again say a single word about law and order after the shameful display of lawlessness in our nation's capital, incited by Trump and abetted by Josh Hawley. Donald Trump, stand down and goodbye." After seeing everything going on at the U.S. Capitol building today, tell us what you've been thinking throughout the night.
Well, it's shameful. I think that it really shows the worst of people, and frankly, it embarrasses the United States, embarrasses us internationally. I think first and foremost of all the people around the world that look to our country with hope and a certain aspiration for their own democracy and their own freedoms. And what does it say to them? What example did we set today? And this could have all been avoided. You know, there are consequences when presidents speak. There are consequences when people don't tell the truth to the public. And when you incite, there are consequences. A young lady died today. She died of a gunshot wound. I don't know the circumstances, but she was in the United States Capitol. She didn't belong there, and she wouldn't have been there but for the President of the United States, who has been telling a lie since he lost the election and has been inciting his supporters, and today at a rally incited them to march on the Capitol, and the consequences speak for themselves. And so it's a distressing time for the country. And what I am heartened by, I have to tell you, that's the upsetting part. But I think this was a slap in the face that woke everybody up. It should wake up Democrats as well as Republicans. We have an obligation to our country, to its history, to its Constitution. And I've been listening to the debate in the United States Senate, and it isn't the Democrats that are giving me inspiration at the moment. Frankly, it's quite a few of the Republicans. Because I listened to Mitch McConnell, and I've never been a fan of Mitch McConnell. But I have to tell you today, both before the insurrection and this evening, after it was over, and they took to the floor again, Mitch McConnell's words are inspiring because he is putting country ahead of party. Mitt Romney just spoke the same way. Senator Lee of Utah. If you listen to these Republicans, if you listen to their message, they understand now that our democracy is far too important to allow one despot, one narcissist, one individual who is so selfish as to want to retain power at all costs to rule the day. And we saw the consequences of authoritarianism at its worst in the United States Capitol. And these Republicans, and I admire them, are stepping up and they're saying enough is enough. Let's certify this election. Joe Biden won fair and square, and let's tell the people the truth. And I feel good about that. So I know you might have wanted a shorter answer, but I figured I'd give it to you all.
Well, Jay, I'd like to ask you, do you worry about the long-term impacts on this, not just on the country, but on the political discourse? We already know how partisan it is. We already know how the extremes seem to play well on social media. Whether or not that's a reflection of real life, that's up to you. But at least today it was, at least it appears to be that way. Are you concerned that we essentially cannot get this back to a place where people can disagree with each other, but at the same time still get along?
I was more concerned about it yesterday. And the reason I say that is, as tragic as today was, I think today was a wake-up call. I think we lanced a boil, if I could put it in those terms. Because I think Republicans, and understand something, you know, I'm the Democratic chair, but, you know, I have great friends that are on the Republican side. I think we can disagree, but don't have to be disagreeable. We can argue over policy. They can believe what they believe, and I might believe something completely different. But that doesn't mean I don't think we're all Americans, and we all deserve to be respected and to be listened to. And I believe that of my Republican friends and colleagues in politics. And I believe they're very good people, frankly. But I think sometimes, and Democrats, I'm sure, are guilty of this as well, and I'm sure there are Republicans listening to me that will be, thinking of times where we were guilty of this. We can, at times, spend too much time in our own corner pushing a narrative that we believe in and maybe pushing it to excess rather than listening more. And today, what happened in the United States Capitol, I think, gives my friends on the other side of the aisle a reason to step back and maybe begin to listen, and hopefully we'll all be able to compromise as we go into this next era, where right now the Democrats will control the Senate, the House, and have the White House. And it's our obligation, by the way, as Democrats, to remember we did not win this election by 100%. Far from it. It's typically a nation that's divided almost 50-50. And in fact, our United States Senate represents that. It is exactly 50-50. And what that means is that there are a lot of people who disagree with us, and we have to find compromise. We have to find common ground and work together. And this ordeal today, I think, again, a slap in the face, cold water, call it what you like. I think it wakes us all up. And it wakes our friends up on the Republican side. And how I know that, and I hope it lasts, is what would have been a process where the Senate and the House members would have objected to each state individually, perhaps as many as 6 states being objected to. They've now decided, based upon what they saw today, to object to just Arizona, get through the debate that's prescribed by the statute, and then move on and certify all of the rest of the states without objection. And to me, that's evidence of everybody learning a lesson. Again, there are consequences to what we do. You know, I watched Ted Cruz. There's some people in this process. I mentioned some Republicans that I've admired their behavior today, greatly so. And I think they're going to go down in the history books, frankly.
Jay, I think we're going to have to leave it there. I'm sorry we're up against the break. But we do appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us on what has been a difficult day for a whole lot of people. Jay Jacobs, the New York State Democratic Party chairman. Thank you.
And our News 12 team coverage of the chaos going on at the U.S. Capitol continues right after this. As you know, the developments have been just every minute something changes, and we're bringing it all to you live. You're watching our News 12 team coverage. We'll be right back.